Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. Where Mondays are just turning out to be disaster, right? These days. Last Monday, it was reported Cancelo shock news that Cancelo was uh, loaned to Bayern, and we thought that was about bad as it could get. Then on Sunday, after Arsenal dropping points, you thought City would smell blood, and we lost to Spurs. The North London Stadium curse continued, and you thought waking up on a Monday morning, digesting that loss, things couldn't get worse than that. Things couldn't get worse than that at all. And then you have the shock emails from the Premier League. Well, I didn't make this stream yesterday because there were a lot of rumors running through. People were reporting on whatever they wanted. People were telling City will be stripped of the titles tomorrow. City, the points reduction will be in place tomorrow. This, that. I mean, all around the media. I mean, that is common, especially the UK media. You know, right? How it is. Uh, so they were talking about things like the verdict could be announced tomorrow and City are already guilty. They were talking in that view. So I mean, a lot of things running around. I just wanted the situation to calm down a bit and then come in front of you. The first thing is these charges are not new. Like when UEFA charged us for these, it's almost, I mean, as we go through what are we charged for by the Premier League, you'll actually realize that these are in turn the chart, these are almost similar to the charges that UEFA have charged us with actually back in 2020 when we won the case against them. Now most of the idiots on online and media telling that City got away from the UEFA case only because there was a time barred element to it, only because they thought that UEFA we won at CAS because we were guilty, but CAS could not have awarded punishment to us, but they were time barred. That is bullshit. The thing is, if something is time barred, the court doesn't even look at it. The court doesn't even go to the extent of examining it. And what City have been telling throughout is we have provided evidence to CAS then about the time barred element things as well. We have irrefutable evidence about the time barred thing as well. It's just that CAS did not examine because there's that rule that they don't examine the time barred elements thing. So people telling that, oh, now City, the time bar thing will catch up with City, they'll be caught with all the wrongdoing. That is actually all bullshit. That is actually not how it works. Let us first look at what are the charges that have been levied on City. The charges are more than 100 breaches to financial rules across 9 seasons, 2009 to 2018. The first thing is you will have to understand how bitter the Premier League is. How bitter. By the way, reports today are coming that the big six clubs, the other big six clubs, especially your Arsenals, your Man United, Liverpool, even Spurs, I think they're all the big other big six clubs are pushing for the Premier League to actually relegate City. Actually, uh, remove City from the division. So you can just see. I mean, if someone have to examine something from 2009, just remember 2009. How bitter they have to be to dig so deep. I mean, what were they doing when we were breaking rules from 2009 till now? What were the Premier League doing? That they won't answer. Failing to assist with investigation from 2018-19 to 2022-23. I mean, people are telling, why can't City just give away the documents if they have done nothing wrong? City have always maintained this. They maintain this with UEFA. With UEFA as well, we paid the 10 million fine because we failed to cooperate with UEFA, not because we were found guilty. Many people thought, why did City pay fine if we are not found guilty? That is because we didn't believe in UEFA. Khaldun Al Mubarak said that UEFA were acting as both the judge, jury, and executioner, and we feel comfortable handing over the proof to them. That is fine. If I have done nothing wrong, and I don't believe in the investigating agency, I believe that the investigating agency could be biased. The Premier League is biased towards the elite. The Premier League is here to protect the interests of the elite. The Premier League is here so that all of the rich clubs go much more richer. What the Premier League wants is Na- None other than United or Arsenal or Liverpool win the title. What the Premier League wants is the traditional clubs win the title. That's it. Just imagine if City were mid-table, we didn't win anything, and we spent this amount of money. No one would even bat an eye. The thing is, City are almost on the verge of winning a third Premier League title in a row. I mean, we still have the possibility, which means it's an unprecedented record. It's been done only once in English top flight history. So it goes against the traditions of your traditional clubs like Man United and all of those things. I mean, just take some sense into it. The FFP rules. When City started at zero in 2008-9, effectively we started at zero, and Manchester United were already they had 120 years of financial power. United took advantage of the TV boom in the 1990s. United played in the European Championships in the 1980s. So much of money we started from zero in 2008-9. How do you expect that uh, both United and us can have the same cap on spending, and yet we can overtake United? That's not possible, right? We are starting from zero. United are starting at a valuation of $1 billion. So how do you expect us to catch up to United if we don't spend more? The FFP in itself is farce. I mean, I for one moment don't tell that the club has broken FFP rules, but talking about FFP, you can see that the FFP in itself is farce. The FFP, it just makes no sense. It is almost telling you like you can never compete with the rich clubs. It's almost telling you like your destiny is to stay mid-table. That is so useless, right? Sumant is here. Hey, Sumant, how are you? He's telling the fact is everyone is jealous. Without without jealousy, why would someone take so much of an interest to push you out, right? Why doesn't United take interest on some other club, a mid-table club like Brentford who's doing well, or some other club actually to push them out? They don't care. The only thing they care is that their interests are threatened by City, and they want to safeguard their interests here. Vishnu says out of 100, PL can easily charge 30 plus cases, so there will be some penalty. I mean, we'll just read through the charges. The second thing is failing to assist with investigation from 2018-19 to 2022-23. So, like I said, City are not comfortable with providing the documents. So, if they provide the documents to the independent commission, which we have done at CAS, so that will not be a problem. Paying ex-manager Roberto Mancini extra millions with secret contract. This I agree that this seems to be shady. I don't have any information on this, probably, but you don't know. But United gifted Sir Alex Ferguson a horse worth $200 million. What about that? That they won't agree, that they won't investigate, and they can't as well. So these sort of things, clubs gifting managers gifts other than money and all of those things, they've happened in the past. Not giving full details of player wages. Again, not giving full details, and again I think City are not giving out full details because they don't believe in the internal investigation of Premier League, like they didn't believe in the internal investigation of UEFA. They think Premier League is biased towards a few big clubs who want City pushed out. They don't like City coming into this close group of an elite. They want to make this English football as a cartel actually. So again, City not handing over the documents is fine to me. They have always maintained that we have irrefutable proof. Breaking PL profit and sustainability rules. Again, there is no documentation over here that City have actually submitted to Premier League. So again, Premier League is just charged with this to City. If City submit the PL profit and sustainability statements, well, that charge won't be there. Not complying with UEFA FFP regulations. We have been cleared of the charge. People say time barred, but City claimed that they had irrefutable evidence on the time bar thing as well. So, I mean, these are the major charges. These 6, 7 are actually the major charges that I've listed here. Of the 115, you know what some of the charges are like? Like the length of the grass is this much. You are 1 hour late for submitting the agenda. this and that. Even there was a chance that City didn't play an FA Cup game, didn't turn up for an FA Cup game. Well, United did that. Did the Premier League? United didn't. I remember United didn't play an FA Cup game because they had to play the Club World Cup back then. So did United guys write this breaches, or did Premier League investigatory committee write these breaches? I just I just do not know. So out of all these six rules that you can see on the screen, apart from paying ex-manager Roberto Mancini extra millions with secret contract and probably Yaya Toure agent, there could be nothing that Premier League can prove, because we have irrefutable evidence that we. I mean, it just takes someone to read through the summary of the cash statement to realize that, especially the third point, overstating sponsorship income and hiding true source of income. CAS had appointed independent valuators, not one but two or three independent valuators, and the independent valuators have stated that equity funding was not disguised as sponsorship income, and City have valued the sponsorship income according to the current market value. Three independent regulators have said that to CAS, and still there's something written over that. So apart from this Roberto Mancini extra millions thing, I actually don't see anything else which we should be afraid of. I know now if you just go into the social media and stuff, you'll have rival fans telling they cheated they cheated on all of this, all the titles should be stripped, and points should be docked and all of that. This is not what Juventus did in the 1990s. In the 1990s, I think, or the early 2000s, I don't remember. Juventus were accused of, influencing the referees, bribing the referees, and all. We didn't do anything of that sort, and we proved it in cars, and we have proof that the sponsorship income and everything was according to the current market value. So, and do you think that the club of City stature would be disguising all of this for 10 years? Would be doing accounting fraud for 10 years, uh, for 10 years in a row? I don't think so at all. Suman says Premier League is crap without City matches. Exactly true, Sumant. Exactly true. Suman says City versus Liverpool is the advertisement for the world about Premier League. Maybe Premier League don't want this quality. Maybe Premier League. I mean, if all of these charges are proven, for example, let's say in hypothetical world, what would that represent the Premier League as a product? From a Premier League point of view, it would affect the credibility of the Premier League. What Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, and everyone has said about Premier League, that they're allowing corruption to go on. So all of this will be proven right about the Premier League. I mean, just leave all of those things, but just talk about the revenue and the money, which is everything that the Premier League care about. Let us talk about that. City has a big market in America. City is not just now. The problem for the Premier League here is City is not just Manchester City. City is the City Football Group. We have sister clubs in so many parts of the world. We have it's almost a network of clubs. It's not just one club. People say Derby County was relegated. People say Nottingham Forest was fined because of these allegations. But here you're not fighting against just one single club. You're fighting against an entire footballing empire. So bloody be careful, Premier League, with whatever you come up with. You're pretty much going to be fighting against the entire might of City, the entire might of City lawyers, and when the club is so sure that they have irrefutable evidence. I mean, that word actually catches me out time and again, with the club saying irrefutable evidence, with no wrongdoing out there. I mean, so many charges have been smeared at the club. I mean, what does that show about the Premier League? 115 charges. That tells you that the Premier League was desperate. The Premier League was desperate for a scapegoat. They couldn't let any of the other top six, the traditional six clubs, be subject of these charges. So they got the scapegoat as City, who have just had success in the recent decade, and they've smeared so many charges at us. So if Why do you smear so many charges at someone when you're not sure, when you're actually not sure about what they have done, right? You put some 150 charges at them, and then you hope that some of them are proved, right? So that you'll save face in the court. Now city might be fined for example non-cooperation or giving the documents, or city might actually be fined for the length of grass or something like that, and the Premier League would spin it like the UEFA spun the statement. The UEFA spun the statement that city paid fine because they were found guilty. That's what even most of the media outlets reported. Then you can see how much jealousy is out there for city. But in truth, the reality was we were fined because we did not cooperate with UEFA. Like I said, we didn't trust UEFA. So that is fine. If I don't trust someone to take up my case, I'll not give the documents to them. I'll instead pay a fine. So the Premier League here wants to save face. And the interesting thing is, yesterday the white paper from the UK government on appointing an independent regulator to govern Premier League clubs was to come out yesterday. So the Premier League, I guess the Premier League probably wanted to show that well it can govern itself. Otherwise, if an independent regulator from the government comes and then he starts looking into the dealings of the Premier League clubs, the first out will be clubs like Manchester United, who have done so many shady dealings over the past. So all of the dealings of, or even probably a Chelsea. So all of the dealings of the Premier League's elite top six, and all of the corruption that is prevalent inside the Premier League, all of those. I mean, don't act like the FAs and the Premier Leagues are all corruption free. They're as if clean and all of that stuff. So I think to prevent that independent regulator from coming in, so the Premier League have released this yesterday in a hurry. In a hurry, you can. It seems that City's legal team have found 33 breaches to be like I said, City have not played in an FA Cup game. They have found 33 breaches to be incorrect, and they have reported it to the Premier League, and the Premier League have quickly changed those breaches on the website or something like that. So you can, I mean, with the kind of hurriness that the Premier League has put put these things in, you can actually think that there is something more than uh, there's something more than what is being actually shown, and the kind of barrage of media attacking city yesterday. I was struggling to find one media outlet actually actually trying to be neutral. Don't write in support of city, but actually try to be neutral and uncover the facts on both sides. All of the articles yesterday from various media outlets, everything was like, if city are found, if city are guilty, they have betrayed football as a spectacle, we haven't bribed the bloody referees, or we haven't influenced referees, or we haven't done anything of that sort. We have played football and we have won those matches. Those title triumphs: Liverpool by 1 point, John Stones goal line clearance, Rodri goal line clearance in the recent campaign, all of those hard fought wins, winning 15 in a row. Those won't come by you just breaking the financial fair play rules. Those are not possible. Those are possible only by good coaching. Those are possible only by the team spirit and a lot of other qualities. So where is that betrayal of football? I don't actually see. Bloody financial fair play. There is no fairness in financial fair play. That is what the journalist who had written that. I think it's Miguel Delaney from the Telegraph or something, who had from the Guardian or Telegraph, who had written it. That City betray football if these charges are proven, and all of this. But where is fairness in financial fair play? Why don't you write these articles about the elite, about your daddies who are giving you, who are paying you money from the backside? He won't do that. So I actually think that these, I mean, just with the kind of media attacks on City, just with the kind of the way the Premier League released these statements, you can see that it's almost that the entire, I'm not saying entire, but most of the media fraternity, most of the footballing top six, everyone wants City out. It's such a collective battle, right? Such one against the many. That is what we are in here for. I don't want fans to be saying now that the club should not have acted like that. How dare the club uh, do this to undermine the entire status of the club? No, we always have wanted to challenge the status quo, and And it's always innocent until proven guilty, right? Then why are everyone talking about guilty until proven innocent? Why is it always different in City's case? I will never understand. Even in that UEFA charge, everyone was speaking that we were guilty before the final verdict even came. Why is it that when it comes to City, it's almost the reverse of what applies to the entire world, that we are guilty? City must have done this. City must have done this for sure. There's no way they have not done that. Why is it that everyone is so confident, so sure about City having done this? And then we want to defend the club. What people say is, how can you be so sure that City haven't done this? Well, how can you be so sure that City have done this? Neither me nor you know what the internal things are going on, right? So how can you be so sure that City have done this? This no one has an answer, but they're somehow sure. All the media outlets are sure. I wish that when we come out of this, we sue each and one of them with such heavy lawsuits that they will be stung up in legal battles for years to come. All of the media outlets who have reported this incorrectly, even if chances that you bloody sue the Premier League in a court of law and wind them up. Money is not an object for us. Wind them up in the legal battle so that they are unable to come out of it. That's what I want us to do after this entire after you are done with the entire allegation. Suman says it's a motivation for City to thrash teams. That's how it should be, Suman. And you can come out of this in two ways. You can come out of this by developing a siege mentality, me against the against everyone else, or you could come out of this with self doubt. Now, many people are telling Pep Guardiola might leave the team. People are telling the stars like Kevin De Bruyne, for example, and others might actually leave the team. They are telling that City's existence will be in question and all of those things. But I'm sure, because from the start, City have been maintaining that they have irrefutable evidence, and Pep Guardiola has always on record gone on and said that he believes in the club. He trusts the club. The club are always briefing him on where the state is at, what how false are the allegations, what is the evidence with them. The club is always briefing Pep Guardiola on these things. So I'm sure that Pep will stick with the club for this, and many of the opposition fans, many of the footballing fraternity will actually be shocked when Pep sticks with us till we get through this. Because when Pep really believes in a project, when Pep really believes that someone has not done something wrong, he stands up for it. You see the Catalonia fight. You see how Pep was there with us throughout the UEFA trial and all of those things. And I'm actually sure that we might get out of this the other way with much more strength, much more stronger. That team spirit, and this actually might be the event that actually uplifts or turns around a Premier League season. You just never know, because so much media hate, so much information thrown at you, such that you're destabilized as a normal fan perspective. Even yesterday, when you were going through any forum, any news outlet, all of those things, they were just reporting that as if we are guilty, 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 as if we are the rot in English football. They were actually reporting that it's English football is just football in general is bad just because of us. City are the bad boys. You remove City and everything will be clean. That I mean, and also I think fans must remember one thing. They must remember that whenever you try, not just in football, anywhere, whenever you try to challenge the status quo, this is what inevitably will come. The elites will never let it happen. The elites will always look to back you down with things, leveling allegations against you, and all of those things. So I really hope that City come out of this stronger. As these things calm down, I think we'll get more and more information on what is actually what actually is the case about. And what I'm hearing is it might take years and years. It might take at least 2, 3, 4 years for this to be cleared up. The only bad thing about that is probably a cloud of doubt might hang over the head of fans, but it should not be. It should not be, especially given the fact that we play such good football, given the fact that the club are sure, they're telling that they have irrefutable evidence. They've proven it to the fans once in front of cars. So I mean, the owner need not have done this. The owner could have just purchased City and could have left us to be to in such an extent that we could just get into the top four, be a mid-table club, and just go on like that. Why will an owner go to the extent of making us one of the best clubs in the world? Why will an owner go to the extent of creating a football empire like a City Football Group and things like that? He wouldn't be he wouldn't be so he wouldn't be so careless to do an accounting fraud for 10 years in building an empire, right? City have, you know, who are City's accountants? They're some of the top accounting firms in the world. So it's not that you can lie to the accounting firms for 10 years straight and you can hope that everything will be all right. That is just mere carelessness. That will just be mere carelessness in on the part of the club. And I don't think that has happened. Let us wait for statements from the side of City, how City will respond, rather than, you know, listen to opposition fans who are. I mean, most of YouTube, if you open, or most of the other forums, especially YouTube, if you open, there are titles with videos like Man City are finished, City are done, City back to relegation, City back to League One, City back to League Two. All of it is like that. Right from a BBC to your average fan channel, everything is like that. Just don't get destabilized with all of this, because and people are saying there is no fire if not there is no smoke without fire. Well, there can be bloody smoke without fire. If you plan a smear campaign on someone, there will be fire without there will be smoke without fire. You can just plan everything up. So you can just see where this is going and who has done this. And Pep Guardiola has said, I think, as early as Saturday, I think that I will not forget the 9 Premier League clubs who wanted us to be punished and all of those things. So I probably think that the City executives knew that the Premier League, if not today, tomorrow, the Premier League would come out with something like this, and they would have been ready to fight against something like this. So I mean, overall, I mean, as you have read the charges over there, I actually don't see any danger for us except that Mancini wage thing and all of and that thing, because I don't know about that, might be true, might not be true, and all the other things like breaking PL profit and sustainability rules, not complying with UEFA FFP regulations, not giving full details of player wages, overstating sponsorship income and hiding true source of revenue. I mean, all of those things I'm actually pretty sure that will get out of it. I mean, the next week, 2 weeks will actually be crucial. It will be interesting how we reach till the end of the season. What will be our mood? What will be our motivation? Actually, how will this affect the players' mentality? How will this affect the dressing room? What will Pep Guardiola do at the end of the season? How will it affect the players we sign? I mean, honestly, I think it should not affect the players we sign or the transfer window in the transfer window and all of it, because we still provide excellent facilities to the players. We're still an elite club, and it's just a charge revealed against you. It's not something that is proven. That is the first thing which we as City fans should keep in mind. It's just a charge that is revealed, and anyone can charge anyone with all of these things. It's only when the charges are proven true that you can comment on someone. So it's just charges at best that are revealed, that are levied, and that's it. Nothing more than that. Nothing actually more than that. Nasir is here. Thank you, Nasir, for being here with every time I stream. Thank you. So it's just charges that are leveled at us. It's not that we are proven to be guilty and all, right? So I think I mean, just what I would say, just unwind from all of this media bullshit, the social media bullshit, everything that is thrown at you. For me, honestly, if you ask me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or something, but it all seems like a concentrated campaign on City. I don't know why, but well, I do know why, the elites and all, but it just seems to be a concentrated campaign on City. Someone pressurizing the PL, the Premier League, and all of those things to destabilize the club. The club can own. We must remember one thing: the club can only get out of it stronger. And for people telling you them cheated all the way to the Premier League titles, first let it be proven. And even if it's proven, how can you call it cheating? We bloody played the Premier League fair and square, and we won those titles. You can't level that charge on us that just because we bought an X player or a Y player by spending more money we won the Premier League and all of those things. That's just bullshit. Nasir says, I'm an Arsenal fan, and what I say is hopefully you get point deductions. But Nasir, the case, it is estimated that the case will take at least 4 or 5 years to come to a conclusion, at least 3 to 4 years, and the points deduction will be in the current season. It will not be in the back seasons. So, even if we get a points deduction, in the worst case scenario, it will be probably in the season of 2028, 2029, something like that actually. So it's not now, and this case is not going to be decided over a coffee on a Saturday afternoon. It's going to take years and years. 115 charges. City's legal team will examine each charge thoroughly. City's legal examine will team will go through each point thoroughly. There'll be proceedings on each charge, and there's a lot of legal work there. There's a lot of legal clauses over there, and if the verdict doesn't come in City's favor, then City actually have a chance to appeal again, not to CAS but to another independent panel. So there are actually a lot of things that are said to go on behind the scenes. But what I would say is I'm actually confident about the club, because they've always been maintaining that they have irrefutable evidence. If you read the CAS statement, you'll know that equity funding was not discussed, as sponsorship income and all of those things. CAS have clearly stated that there's not enough evidence there. No, we have even submitted evidence for the time barred stuff and all of it. So I actually think that there's nothing to worry except that Mancini wage thing, which I don't think is such a serious breach. So I'm actually confident that we'll get out of it stronger. Nasir says, do you think City will get points deducted? I mean, Nasir, even in the worst case scenario, even if City gets points deducted, they'll be deducted in the current season. Like I mean, not this season, but the current season in which the verdict will come out. The estimation is it will take 3 or 4 years for the verdict to come out. So, if in the worst case scenario the verdict comes out in 2027, that is the season when City can have points deducted. A lot of people on media are telling that the committee will go back retrospectively and deduct points on every season that City won the league and all of those things. They're taking an example of Juventus, but Juventus have bribed referees when they were deducted points. We have done nothing of that sort. So we have won the title fair and square. So points will be deducted, but in the current season when the verdict comes. So not in this season, whichever season the verdict comes. In the worst case scenario, that is. And even when the verdict comes after 3 years, 4 years, City will have the chance to appeal the verdict. That might actually take more time, another 1 2 years, for example. So this has the potentiality to drag on because 115 charges. You can imagine what the Premier League is actually. I wish City sue the Premier League after all this is done, and City sue the other media outlets, everyone in such a way that they're just finished. They're done. Vinay says PL is Liverpool, United, and Arsenal, and there's no surprise, Vinay, that Sky Sports were reporting that Liverpool, United, and Arsenal have actually asked the Premier League to relegate City. That's what they have asked. You know that they do not want anyone else to win the PL titles. They only want United or Liverpool or Arsenal to do it. I mean, the elites are just they're not able to get their head around it. How City are, especially in January when the earnings have come and Deloitte have reported that City's earnings are number one for the second year in a row. They're just not able to get their head around it. How and they're just and also the fact that City is now moving towards sustainability. We have discussed this in the past as well, I think, but City are now moving towards a stage where we can rely on our academy players coming through, and we can rely on the City Football Group and the scouting network there, and we no longer have to dip into the market at least in the next 2 3 years to actually buy players. So the elite clubs are scared that one City turns into a sustainable entity, producing their own players, almost having their very own La Masia, then it will be almost impossible for the elite clubs to do anything to City. So that's why they've come up with this. Nasir says for breaking FFP, exactly for breaking FFP, you get points deduction only in the current season when the verdict is actually declared. You don't get points deduction retrospectively. Nasir says people are mailing is scarier than people are making it as scarier than it actually is. Nasir, I'm okay if people are making it scarier than it is actually is, but respectable media outlets, the Guardian, the BBC, I mean, you name it, all of them are making it scarier than it is. Yesterday, I read an article by Miguel Delaney, I think of the Telegraph. We know he's an United fan and is attached to United and all. But what he writes is, if what City have done is true, then City have betrayed football as a spectacle to the core. Why? Why is that? We have still played beautiful football. We have not cheated someone on the field or something like that, right? We have won the titles by playing beautiful football and earned the right to it. I don't know why he's writing articles like that. It from the core seems like a smear campaign. You want to defame a person. You actually I don't say they paid, but you engage all of the media outlets and you go in at once on that entity, attacking it from all the directions so that it can't respond at all in a fast manner. I think that is what has happened at City. You can see this as nothing more than a smear campaign aimed at destabilizing the club. Nasir says Nketiah is better than Haaland. Well, better in pressing aspect. I will not disagree with that. Better in the work rate, but Haaland has so much more. Vinay says PL doesn't want Arab owner. Irony: American owner spent 600 million in one window. It all seems to be like the American ownership. They want to monopolize this thing. The FSG of Liverpool, Glazers at United. There's an American owner at Chelsea as well. So you can actually sense, and also there are reports from some quarters that this is City are getting this because of the way they were the first to pull out of the European Super League saga and all. And who were the last to pull out of the European Super League saga? Liverpool and Manchester United, right? But their fans will forget this. Their fans will forget this now that it's gone. They won't remember that we were the first to pull out of. We were the first to have balls to pull out of the European Super League fiasco. They won't look at it that way. It's all just so. I won't say frustrating, because frustrating is such a small word, but it's just that such a sadistic approach from all of the other opposition fans. Nasir says, "Is your donation on?" No, no, Nasir, it's not on, because I don't have those many subs to have the donation on actually. Vinay says media is clearly bribed, and you can see that, Vinay, with the amount of articles that are coming on, with the amount of I mean the very fact that I couldn't find a single. Did you guys, by the way, find a single neutral article about this? I was combing through a lot of articles yesterday, the media stuff, forums and all everywhere. I couldn't, the fact that I couldn't find a single article, single neutral article about this where it explains both sides of the thing. No, it is not that everybody writes time City were spared by the cash because of time barred things, and now they will be caught. The time barred things were illegal, but all of these big journalists, I don't know why are they paid for their job. Couldn't they just go and refer to what the CAS statement said? When I referred to it this morning, it clearly said that all of the evidence has been provided to CAS. Even the time barred things element, the evidence has been provided to CAS for the time barred things by City. The only thing is, since it's time barred, CAS cannot look into it. CAS did not even examine the evidence. But City have told that we have provided evidence. CAS have admitted they have received evidence from City even for the time bar things. It's just that they didn't examine because it's against the law. That's it. And how much of a witch hunt should this be that they started digging the finances from 2009? Why can't they go and dig it from 2000, 1990? That they won't do, because then we were chirpy little club sitting in spending our time in the championship sometimes, or in the mid table, and all of those things. Now that we have managed to grow some steel of our own, now that we have managed to be in a position where we can oust the status quo, where we can be the new status quo, All of these elite clubs are scared, and they're also scared with the fact that the they're also scared with the footballing side, the operation side of things. City have become a model for how a footballing club should be run from top to bottom. City have become a model for how the area around the football club. You just look at the development that City have done around the area of Manchester. Just Google it, and you'll notice the amount of jobs City have created by developing the area around Manchester. We have become a model for the academy structure. United Stadium is in deep need of renovation. For example, the roofs are leaking at Old Trafford, but they don't give a shit, right? Instead, they'll be ready to spend 100 million on defaming City, and I won't be surprised by it. The elite clubs are scared by the entire City footballing group network and how it is coming to fruition. That's the truth of it. I think we as fans should look on this above what the media is spreading on the online, above what all the fans are telling in various forums. We should look at the entire thing what City have created and how these people are trying to bring down an empire. If it was a shady dealing thing, why Sheikh Mansour would have sold it in 2015, sold the club in 2016 after completing all of his shady dealings, right? Why did he hold on to the club? If the process of this was just to conduct shady dealings, why did Sheikh Mansour actually invest so much into the academy? Vinicius Media is clearly bribed. Nasir says you should stream on Twitch. Arsenal is winning the Premier League. Probably, but I actually do not know, Nasir, because situations like this that could actually bring an entire team together, siege mentality, especially when you know that you've done nothing wrong and the entire world is against you. That just, invokes a spirit in you that I wouldn't be surprised if City go on a 15-match winning run after this. Vinay says Arsenal PL sure again we it would be hilarious, Vinay, that in such a sort of in such a season like this, when so many allegations have been put on us and seasons not going well, we go on and win a Champions League. That would be the more hilarious thing. I would then be waiting for the salty tears of all of the opposition fans. That would be the most hilarious thing. We win the Champions League. Nasir says, if you don't mind me asking, where are you streaming from? Are you from England? No, Nasir, I'm not from England. I'm from India. I'm from southern part of India, from Hyderabad. Vinay says, any normal person will understand that City clear cheats. Anyways, reputation is already downloaded. Gaurav says, these allegations make us hard to sign big players. It's an attack on the reputation, Vinay. It's a clear attack on the reputation more than anything else. Like you said, it's a clear attack on destabilizing the reputation of a club that is one of the fastest growing in the world. And whereas the truth of the matter here is, clubs like United, clubs like Liverpool, they're stagnating. They do not want to grow even. They're just happy with top four and challenging for the title occasionally when a manager like Klopp comes and puts everything on his own by spending less and all of those things. Clearly, they're stagnating, and City are growing as a football club, so they don't want to be outtaken, overtaken, and that is why they've now come up with this. Gaurav says, I think many players will think about the situation twice to sign the contract. Honestly, Gaurav, I don't think the situation could affect the players. I don't think the situation could affect us signing big players. The truth is, this summer we wanted to sign a fullback, one or even two fullbacks, at least one fullback for sure. We wanted to sign 100 Rafael Leao. We wanted to sign Jude Bellingham. Now, people might think with this fiasco, Jude Bellingham is out of question, but I don't think that is the case because if City have irrefutable evidence, then there's no need to worry at all. Well, you could still, the facilities are superb. Still, you have the chance to play under a great manager like Pep Guardiola. Still, you have a top class management under whom you will be working. Still, you'll be able to challenge for the titles. Nothing changes until the verdict comes out, and the verdict could take years to come out actually. So City could explain the project, City could explain the situation to the players. So don't think that will deter us from signing big players. In fact, we might actually go and splurge 300-400 500 million pounds this transfer window just to make a mockery of what Premier League is doing. I won't be surprised if Khaldun goes and says we'll spend 400 million pounds in this transfer window. Let us see who stops it. Let us see who has the balls to stop it. That would just be a slap on the face of the Premier League. If City can bring in Jude Bellingham, if City can bring in Rafael Leao, if City can bring in someone like a Rafael Guerrero and sign other players, then Premier League will not have anywhere to hide its face. If we go, I want us to bloody splurge in this transfer window, summer transfer window, for 400 million at least. Because clearly, I mean, clearly, if you look at the chain of events and what City is telling, there is most of the charges I'm sure won't stick because City have provided the dividends and cars. I don't know why people are not able to understand that. Vinay says Liverpool, United, Arsenal fans want City out, but their owners are eating all profits. And Vinay, I think Arsenal's owner Stan Kroenke buys. I think 2017 it was he bought an island in the United States instead of investing money in Arsenal Football Club. The fans are happy with those kind of owners. The fans of the opposition club, they are fine. They say Glazer out, and all of those things. United fans, Liverpool fans cry about the FSG. But the matter of the fact is, when there is a owner who cares about the club, when there's an owner who really wants the club to be the best in the world, this is what they do to them. This is how they deter them. I mean, the first thing for me is, if you ask me about FFP, the first thing I would say is, let us get to the root of this. The first thing, if you ask me about FFP, is FFP in itself is farce. FFP in itself is designed to protect the status quo. You just imagine the scenario. I want to compete against Microsoft, for example. I want to start a software company and compete against Microsoft. And you say that both Microsoft and you can spend the same amount of money. How will I ever be then grow to the level of Microsoft and outcompete it? It's the same. When City started in 2008-9, we were zero. United were so many millions, hundreds of millions of dollars ahead of us. How can we compete against United if the FFP rules for both are the same? It just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make logic, right? I don't say we breached FFP here, but talking about the logicality of the FFP rules. And how do you take into account that City in 2008-9 had FFP rules, but Chelsea taken over in 2004 didn't have FFP rules. United in 1990s didn't have FFP rules. So how do you say that? Do you say Chelsea just got lucky in 2004 and they got to spend as much as they have, but City can't do it in 2008-9? That is just outright unfair, right? When a team retrospectively has spent a lot of money, you have to give some room, right? Telling the first 4 years, 5 years FFP doesn't apply, something like that. Nasir says, he's spamming Arsenal, Arsenal. Vinay says, Nasir, you're winning Premier League, bro. No deny. Vinay says, FA want Arsenal, Liverpool, United rivalry again. We remember Fergie time, don't we? And Rashford offside goal is the first indication. In this season, Vinay, I think we have had a couple of dodgy decisions. I don't say that it's all planned and something, but that offside thing, especially when the linesman has raised the flag, one of the most experienced linesmen the game has seen. How can a referee go on and deny it? I just can't imagine. And also some of the charts, I know I'm repeating myself, but some of the charts like length of the grass, 1 hour late for submitting an agenda. Is it like you're punishing a kid at school for submitting homework an hour late or a day late? That's how it is seeming for by the Premier League. It's just that they want to save face in case the main charges are not proven and just give City some sort of fine so that everyone will be alright. That's what Premier League probably is looking at, I think. And all this media is talking as if tomorrow City will be relegated to EFL. It is so sick being on social media yesterday, reading through all of it. No neutral posts at all. Gaurav says Jude might be following this case closely, but Gaurav, excuse me, but I'm actually confident that big players will come to City than what opposition fans are thinking. And I think this summer transfer window could actually be a marker for us because this case is not going to go away for 3-4 years, right? But in the next transfer window, if you go into the next summer transfer window and you bring in big players, that will send out a message to the entire Premier League, to all of these stupid other top six clubs, and the footballing fraternity as a whole, that City are confident. We are absolutely confident of, no wrongdoing. Hence, we are spending so much amount of money on Jude Bellingham, Rafinha, and all of those things. So I'm sure City will go and splurge a lot in the summer. Actually, that is one way that you could get out of this, at least these allegations fast. Then people will think, if this really proof for the Premier League, why would City go on and splurge so much and all of those things? So I mean, it's not that I care about what other people think, other people of the other clubs think, and all of those things. But this summer transfer window will actually be a marker. It will be an indication of what City could do. Vinay says, who will join us if club is targeted every now and then? Is their future and work? But actually, I think the players tend to see it differently, I think, than what a fan sees it. We actually think that football players as well, they follow football very closely and things like that. That's not always the case. Football players, they actually see football as work, for example, and they don't follow as much as we do outside of them playing. I think Maharaj or someone who said that after the game, I don't pretty much follow other football matches. I just like to do other things in life. So, and it also depends on how Jude Bellingham and Rafinha are explained about this case and about the scenario. Actually, this transfer window will be interesting, but at least now I'm sure that City have irrefutable evidence, especially with the cast statement and everything. And other than that Mancini thing, I think that will be all right. I mean, even in the worst case scenario, if you're not all right, still what do you do? I mean, we only have so much you can control, right? We had so many memories, of this decade City winning PLs. Whatever happens, I think we stick with the club, because whatever City have done. I mean, to be honest, whichever way this goes, if you ask me, whatever City have done, it is actually for the greater good of the club, developing the areas around Manchester. The building world class facilities, bringing so many youth players through, developing the careers of so many youth players, be it at City or be it away. How many youth players are now from City and they're having successful careers in the Championship, in other leagues in Germany and other countries. City have done that. City have created City Football Group, the scouting network, and City have helped clubs like Girona growing by pitching finances there. City have invested in them and helped build the infrastructure of clubs like Yokohama Dynamos, I think in Japan. In Argentina, we have a club in France, and all of those things. So I mean, and if you just go back and take all of this into context, and look at the top six clubs like United, Arsenal, Liverpool. What have they done for football? What have they done for the footballing fraternity? Do they have world class facilities right now? In world class academy facilities? Well, the stadium is leaking. Well, United Stadium is leaking. How many youth players have they helped have successful careers elsewhere? What is the general contribution to the areas around the club? What is the general contribution to the footballing fraternity as a whole? Have they invested in other small clubs and helped football grow? Then Mumbai City FC is another example from an Indian point of view. So a lot of things that City have done. So whichever way this goes, because City have done so much, you got to stick with the club. And the thing is, the owners are not in this for profits. Okay, you could argue the politics of it and all of it, but in general, if you look at it from footballing perspective, the owners have done much more beyond just anticipating profits from this football club. They wanted the football club to grow to be a footballing giant, but also have helped other football clubs by being in the City Football Group. So whichever way this goes, I think I'm 100% sure that I stick with City. If it means that I don't think it will go that far, but if it means we play in the Championship, we stream Championship matches here live. That would be amazing, right? Stoke City on a windy night, and all of those things. That Oxford United, that would just be fine as well. So whatever happens, I'm confident that we have irrefutable evidence. Confident that we are going to get through this unscathed. probably we pay a fine so the Premier League can save some face. But if the worst case thing happens, I'm not ready to believe that City cheated and won those titles, because everyone here knows the Aston Villa game, for example, 2020-21. You can't cheat and have moments like this. You can't cheat and have the Aguero moment like that. You can't cheat and produce fantastic football. So I'm not accepting that allegation. We have played football fair and square and won. So, I mean, the worst case scenario, if the club drops down to the championship, I think we support the club in the championship like we have done. Stick with City through and through, just because taking into context the overall things what City and its owners have done, not just fans but also the entire footballing fraternity as a whole, and our match tickets as well are actually match tickets are actually, I think we have some of the lowest match ticket prices, I think, in the mid table, I think, a match ticket prices. So everything City Football Group have done and Manchester City have done is keeping in view the fans and all of the best interests. Vinay says, by the way, you can watch for Arsenal channel. He's been unbiased while discussing this issue. I'll probably maybe do that. Vinay says, I'm sure they're using illegally obtained data. But Vinay, even that's the thing, even the illegally obtained data was actually admitted in cash, and City actually submitted evidence against it, and that there's been no wrongdoing, and cash has accepted that even if it's illegally obtained data, City are actually sure that they have evidence, they have irrefutable evidence that they have done nothing wrong. It's just that City are not giving. One of the journalists after that cash thing, what he has said is, if City had given the evidence to UEFA, there would have been no cash. UEFA would have probably cleared City. But City here felt that UEFA at that time were being the jury, judge, and executioner, because they felt there was a conspiracy by the other clubs, the other top clubs, to defame them, and that's why they are taken into cast and an independent commission, independent court, and then submitted the proofs there. I think this is the same. If City would have given this to the Premier League, probably most of the charges would be cut down. But City have not done that, and because City are not able to trust in the Premier League and its processes, because they again think its Premier League is biased towards the top six there in City, and they are now ready to submit all of the proofs to an independent commission. So I think even if it's illegally obtained data, even if it's time barred data, I think we have the proofs. I think we have the proofs, and we are gonna employ the best lawyers. We have the proofs, and we have the best accounting or auditing firms as well. We have the best accountants as well. So, and Cass clearly stated in his judgment as well that equity funding was not found to be property of the sponsorship income. It was not found to be part of the sponsorship income. That is, of all these allegations, equity income being disguised as sponsorship income is the big thing, because once equity income through stadium naming rights, the Etihad deal, and all of that. See, once City can prove that equity income is not being disguised as sponsorship income, it means most of the other charges also will not hold. Breaking PL profit and sustainability rules, they will not hold, because you have the right sponsorship income, and our profit and sustainability then is into that umbrella. I think once we are able to prove to the independent commission that equity funding is not being disguised as sponsorship funding, I think all of the other financial charges collapse. They're not heavyweight at all. This is the one thing which we have to prove. That Mancini thing, I don't think is a big thing. Everyone does that. Like United gifted a $200 million horse to Alex Ferguson, and all of those things. So Yaya Toure's agent being paid on the backside, and all of those things. Those are just nonsense. Those small charges. The big charge is the sponsorship income, inflation, and the cash states that City have not disguised. We have had 2, 3 independent valuators, and City have not disguised sponsorship income as equity funding as sponsorship income, and 3 independent valuators have said that before CAS. They've examined it thoroughly. So we don't have anything to worry about that. So once it is disproved in CAS, Then why can't it be disproved in front of this committee? Because I mean, they say the case is not under the jurisdiction of UK. That is fine, but any court in the world has given a judgment. You could use that judgment as a precedent in another court. That is allowed. Vinay says FA committee has all big three clubs fans, and UEFA has the Qatari owner as its boss, right? And you know that is the reason why City were always asking for an independent panel. So and they do not want to submit the documents to the Premier League or FA to whatever it is. Vinay says, want this to end like right. I'm already tired of this shit. It might not actually end, Vinay. They're telling it will take 2, 3, even 4 years. It will just drag on, drag on, drag on. By the way, remember those Panama Papers when they came on? I think it was 2015, 16. I don't know. They came on, and initially media were like all of the world leaders should be put in jail. And then slowly dragged on, and I think most of them got out of it as well. I don't know what happened now. No one even thinks about that. So I mean, I'm not comparing this to that, but I think we need to focus more on football now than all of these things, because they're just allegations. Anyone can go and put an allegation on anyone just to tarnish their image. I, I, I think the world now has become in such a way that if there is a small allegation against you, you're seen as a bad boy. You're seen as someone bad. People are not thinking that this allegation might be false. Let us not prove him guilty until he's cleared of, until he's charged with everything in a court of law. People are not thinking like that. If there's an allegation, first they're thinking you must be guilty, and then they're waiting for the coach to decide. I don't say what is this nonsense. Just this knee jerk reactions, thinking that if City, for example, lost against Spurs, title is over. If City win again, title race is on. All of these knee jerk reactions. Pep Guardiola is suddenly not good enough. Haaland is suddenly the most useless striker in the world. All of these knee jerk reactions. When I says, to be honest, don't understand how City is top and Barca, Real United have crazy fan base. There's some breaching done, but when I the more than the fan base, it's I mean, more than the ticket prices, the merchandise. See, the merchandise sales, the ticket prices, all of these things. They just form a part of the revenue. Sponsorship deals. That's why the Premier League has sponsorship deals as one of the major points here. That is one of the serious allegations against City, because sponsors don't, because sponsors don't, give you money, give you deals based on your traditions, your history, or things like that. Or even your fan base. They give you deals based on what you're doing present. City have Pep Guardiola, City have Kevin De Bruyne, City have Erling Haaland. If I'm a sponsor looking to sponsor City, what would I be looking at? Wow, Haaland has a greater fan base. Kevin De Bruyne has such a good fan base. City have been winning titles. Pep Guardiola is there. City are now expanding into American market. We are expanding into Indian market. We are expanding into the South American market. We are expanding into the African market through the City Football Group. So we are covering untapped markets which other top six clubs are not doing. So this is not just about the fan base. It was that easy that Newcastle should be having the highest revenue, right? Their attendances are more than even Man United's. So actually, things sponsorship deals are done based on all of these things, based on the brand as a whole, rather than the traditions and the history and all. And you look at the City Football Group and their reach. So if I'm a sponsor, I would want to be associated with City because of its reach. For example, my product will go into untapped markets of South America and smaller clubs in Spain, down the English divisions, a lot of places, probably in India with Mumbai City FC in there, where we have a 66% stake, Mumbai City FC. So then that is where sponsorship deals are actually done. Yeah, commercial sponsors, exactly, commercial sponsors. And when you're associated with so many, I mean, what is the need to do breaching? First of all, what is the need to do? breaching. I mean, little bit of shady deals that is every club does it. Cooking the books, accounting. For example, Amazon didn't pay a penny of income tax. I know you exploit loopholes in accounting and then you do it. Like Chelsea did it, 600 million pounds, for example, spend in this transfer window, 8-year contracts. That is fine, but I don't see a point here where City blatantly break accounting rules, blatantly disguise their income. And CAS have stated it, right? CAS have clearly stated it that City did not disguise sponsorship income as equity funding. The problem here is City is sponsored by Etihad, right? Both belong to the same family or the same person or something related party transition, right? So fans are actually assuming that Sheikh Mansour puts money into Etihad, and Etihad then gives a higher deal to City than than it actually should have. But that was the exact case. Etisalat, lot of things, a lot of those related party companies. That is what they're telling. Mansour puts money into those companies, and those companies actually sponsor City. That's what they're telling. But the thing is, CAS have looked into this. Like I repeated again, three independent valuators, and they said nothing of that sort is done. I mean, is Sheikh Mansour a fool? If you really had to put money into City Football Club, why would you do it through your own companies? Why would you do it through your Etihad, Etisalat, and others that are related to you? I mean, me with almost zero knowledge of how accounting works, just a little bit knowledge. What I would do is, I would in fact tell someone who's not related to me. I would tell them to open a shell company in Mauritius or or somewhere there, and then and then tell them to sponsor City, for example, and then buy contracts from him for Etihad and all of those things. There's a lot of ways in which you can do these, shell companies, disguising money. There's a big, there are big organizations who just help you do this. You could pretty well have gone that route. No one who's in the right frame of mind will say, well, I'm going to cheat the accounting guys by directly funneling money into my own companies. That is the most absolute sort of bullshit any owner will do. Even someone who has a mediocre accountant, I mean, even someone who doesn't know accounting at all will tell you that that is not how it is done. If you really want to cheat the system, you create shell companies, you create 20 shell companies, siphon the money from them, make the money clean, and then you bring it into the club. And it's impossible to catch once you do that. So City have not done that. Clearly, Etihad is the sponsor. Clearly, Etisalat is the sponsor. So City don't have any unnamed companies, for example, pouring money into the club. Vinay says all problems lies in main sponsor Etihad Airways. It's from UAE. Exactly, and they think that is the one point. Like I said, and they think that Sheikh Mansour is just. I mean, is he an idiot? I mean, every year you have to, when you're submitting your earnings report, you have to declare related party transactions. You have to declare them. And we Sheikh Mansour a fool that knowing he'll have to declare it, will he be committing the same? Just imagine, you do it 1 year, 2 years. Would you do it for 10 years? The same fraud. Even someone with useless accountants will not do that. Even someone who doesn't have an accounting degree will not recommend you to do that. There's another way. If City wanted to do it, they could have done that. Safe havens, pumping in money, bringing in other sponsors, bring in the Chinese people and sell the stake to them and things like that. There are multiple ways in which you could have actually done that. So that is the main evidence on which this case stands, Vinay. That overstating sponsorship income and hiding true source of revenue. You can see the point on the screen as well. Cass said that is not true. And once that point is refuted, other points don't stand. Vinay says any company or sponsor from Middle East will be richer than companies around the world. FA pointing out that, why they understand my first line. Okay, any company or sponsor from Middle East will be richer than companies around the world. FA pointing out that, but why they don't understand my first line, I actually do not know. Actually, do not know. And what the Premier League said is, if someone sponsors a football club, they will have to do it on the basis of a fair valuation. So what they do is They take the fan base into account, they take the other revenue into account and do it right. And City have submitted the same procedure on how well. I mean, two independent valuators have done it based on the rules laid down by the Premier League and also by the UEFA, and found that the valuations are exactly correct. They're correct to the dot. So I mean, the only thing I was satisfied yesterday was by the meme of Khaldun Al Mubarak. You know, you have that meme which someone got hold of in the UEFA thing, where Khaldun walks in his suit with 100 other lawyers coming behind him, and there's music. That is one thing that is really really what smiled to my face yesterday. Otherwise, it was a pretty damn day recovering from the Spurs defeat on Sunday. The fact that we didn't play well, thinking about why Haaland is not clicking. How do you solve the Haaland problem? In fact, I wanted to do a stream yesterday on how can we solve Haaland problem? Who will play the left back for us? But when this news came, I was just so much information there bombarding me and all of those things. A lot of people telling me City has stripped of the titles, gone. The Aguero moment is waste. You guys cheated, this, that, and I was like, let this calm down, and then and we'll do a stream. Vinay says heard that Khaldun can burn down burn down PL. There was a statement from Sheikh Mansour. Actually, I think it was before the UEFA investigation. He actually said that I will take whatever it I will go to the extent of whatever it might take to clear the name of the club. It doesn't matter what the cost will be. I will go to any extent. That's what Sheikh Mansour said. In fact, there was an article from a source that Sheikh Mansour said before the UEFA, before the CAS, here in that, take down UEFA, burn down UEFA. Doesn't matter whatever happens. I will be there. So this is not just about, and another thing here is, this is not just about us Premier League levying charges on us. This is not just about Premier League telling City have cheated, you'll now be relegated. This is about laying allegations and telling that Sheikh Mansour has cheated. This is about laying allegations and telling that, if I may put it, the Deputy Prime Minister of UAE is a cheat. The Deputy Prime Minister of UAE has cheated. So now you can imagine the repercussions of such a statement if things are proven and they say City have cheated. It indirectly says Sheikh Mansour has cheated. It indirectly says the Deputy Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates have cheated. Has cheated. What will the repercussions of that be geopolitics wise? UK have an energy deal with UAE, by the way. I think there are a lot of matters here that are intertwined. You must not forget Sheikh Mansour is the Deputy Prime Minister of UAE. UK have just inked an energy deal with UAE, energy crisis. So a lot of things. This matter is just gonna go beyond football. I feel it's gonna involve geopolitics. It's gonna involve political clout. It's gonna involve a lot more things than just stripping of titles. This is not gonna be just stripping of titles. This is, I wouldn't be surprised if Sheikh Mansour comes out after all of this, and if he come out on the right side, he can place a defamatory charge on PL. He can place a defamatory charge on other people who have written about him. That could just ruin their careers if he actually does that. Lawsuits and Premier League could never recover. Suman says UEFA is done now. PL next was FIFA or North Korea. Sumant, until Khaldun is there, we can burn down anything. I just really want to play that meme video of Khaldun walking with 100 lawyers in the suits. Vinay says many clubs from major leagues are broke. I see Super League reality. Vinay, if any of our fans at this stage, to be honest, if any of our fans with this stage will go to any forum or generally speak on social media that this might actually say this might actually pave a way for a Super League or something, they'll just be shut down. They will say that you're destroying football and all of those things. But if you're really honest, and if you keep a bit of your emotion aside and all, you know why the Super League was rejected. The Super League was rejected not because of ethical things and all of those things. The Super League was actually rejected because it didn't have a system of relegation and promotion. That actually means the cartel remains there, the clubs remain there. Now if the Super League comes with a proposal of relegation and promotion. There'll be 19 teams, there'll be 20 teams will be playing in the Super League with bottom three teams going down to what league I don't know, but they'll say going down to a league, and the other teams can come up from that league, or all of those things. Once they include that point, what will the fans argue against? What will the regulators argue against? Then it's fair, right? The PL is doing the same thing. Super League will also do the same thing. Then the Super League will have more appeal because you have AC Milan against City, you have PSG against City, you have Chelsea against Juventus. There are a lot of combinations that can be there. It was rejected just because of the uh, lack of allocation of finances to the lower tiers of probably English football. It was, I mean, you could look at it on the other side and say Super League was rejected just because the FA and the EFL and the Premier League were scared that their coffers will now no longer be filled. That is as blunt as a statement I can give. The FA was shit scared that now the money will not come. They will be ruined. All of the TV rights deals which the PL was having. Why will Sky Sports give that high media deals to the Premier League if there's a European Super League, right? So actually, I think there's a lot more if the Super League can actually put those relegation clauses in and all. And you're right, a lot of clubs are broke. Barca is broke. Real Madrid is almost broke. They're not telling it, but they're broke. PSG is just boring, and that league is just boring. The Italian clubs are all broke. Your Juventus is broke, dogged to 15 points, and no one even cares a shit. Is there an article about Juventus being dogged to 15 points? No one says they are cheating. Why don't the media outlets write about Juventus being docked 15 points just 1 month ago and said they cheated and all of those things when they won titles last season? I think did they won last season or season before they won a lot of titles. No, they don't say it at all because there's an agenda which is levied against City. I'm sure. But Vinay, like you mentioned, all of the other clubs are actually broke. The Spanish clubs, the Italian clubs are broke. PSG is anyway boring. They wouldn't mind. They would actually welcome the Super League, but the Qatar owner didn't because they wanted the World Cup to be hosted there. And so I mean the landscape of football. Actually, I think until we get the verdict, which is 3-4 years down the line, the landscape of football might have actually been changed. Might be there might be no Premier League, then you just do not know how fast the landscape of football can be changed. You just never know. Vinay says, my respect for Florentino Perez. Vinay says, watch this white paper stuff. FA are doing all this to show they can handle issues themselves. Yes, there was a white paper which was penciled to come in yesterday afternoon exactly. And what the white paper is, the government has actually, I think the government wants to appoint independent regulators to look into the shady dealing, to look into the dealings of all the clubs, of all your traditional clubs, United, Liverpool, everyone, especially the top six clubs, because the government says due to this Super League stuff and all that has come out, they think that the PL are not doing enough to they're not doing enough to probe these big six. They're supporting the traditional big six. So the government wants to appoint independent regulators and take issues into their hand. That is what the white paper was about. And it's no surprise that exactly when that white paper was about to come out, Premier League hurriedly released the statement saying that we have charged City this and that, and this also points you that the Premier League wanted to prove, they just wanted to prove that they can handle issues themselves. So it's, I mean, more than people thinking that the Premier League is a fair body, the Premier League is laden with corruption. The Premier League is, I mean, not in a footballing sense, I would say, but in an administrative sense. The Premier League, the FA, they're laden with corruption. There are a lot of corruption cases in an administrative sense against all of them. So the Premier League did this to save faces and to protect the interest of the big six again, because independent regulator comes, all your sugar daddies like your Uniteds, your Liverpools, and your Arsenals had to, I mean, they had to be put in front of the independent regulator, and all of those things will again come out about how Glazers are taking the money from United, how Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal fans don't care if their owner sucks money like a leech from them. The United fans, are like, it's not cheating if Blazers suck the money from them, suck their hard-earned money from them. But it's okay if a city owner comes and he wants to make something good. He wants to create a sort of an empire that will create employment more than anything else for a lot of people. I just don't understand this. We are so much, I think this is a propaganda that is aimed at us, and so much of media is being pushed at you. This is what, Richard Nixon of the U.S. president said. We actually, he said it, quote, in a speech. He said it that we actually pay media channels and everyone to spread the propaganda we want, so that the propaganda can influence people's thinking, then it can influence people's decision making like the way we want. So in fact, we are in control of their thinking. And I think this is how it has panned out. The Premier League and the Big Six, they are controlling the propaganda, which is the media channels and the media outlets and all of those things. And due to that articles, their articles are influencing how we think, and it's shaping the way we think. I think long gone are those days in the world when people think independently. People are now being wired to think by these all of these propaganda spreading outlets, I think. And hence you can see the outburst from all of the rival fans and everyone else, all of the media outlets, without taking a moment to assume that what if we are found innocent? Who will tarnish, who will recover all of this reputation? That they don't think. Vinicius Perez should come again with relegation points in view. And news is, I think 2 3 months back there was news. 2 months back that the European Super League now is including relegation and all of those things. And it will come, and it will soon come. And also, who is leading